Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We talk everything animation here, including Craig of the Creek, which we'll be getting into right now. I'm Dylan Hysen, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello.
And Alex Bonilla.
Hola.
Today we are talking the November episodes of Craig of the Creek that were up on the Cartoon Network app today, actually. So very quick turnaround here, and airing on TV next week, Monday to Thursday. 4 episodes for this latest batch of Craig. They are Jextra okay, I didn't realize this was Perrestrial instead of Terrestrial. I
thought it was,
Jextra Perrestrial, I guess because it's JP. Okay, I just got that. To the Takeout mission.
I didn't get it either.
It's JP in the beginning of Extraterrestrial. It's like ET, but JP. Could have called it. Okay, yeah, I get it.
They literally do a go home joke in that episode. Okay?
Still didn't click. Okay, the Takeout mission, Dinner at the Creek, and Jessica's Trail. Yes, the latest 4. These are on the Cartoon Network app and website now. If you want to check them out on demand as well, and then airing on Cartoon Network next week. Check out our previous Craig of the Creek podcasts at overlyanimated.com. Search for Craig, Overly Animated on iTunes, or we post all our podcasts on our YouTube, youtube.com/overlyanimated. Make sure you've seen these. We're getting into spoilers right away for all 4 of these and all previous episodes of Craig of the Creek. Michelle, what did you think of this latest batch of Craig episodes?
Oh man. Okay, so I hope this isn't a hot take, but I felt that there was one very strong episode and 3 amazing episodes. And I was
What's the difference between a very strong episode and an amazing episode?
Amazing's like hit it out of the park, amazing pacing, great characterization, memorable, want to rewatch it like 5 times. Stand out, and strong is like, oh, it was really good. It was a solid A+, or at least today.
Okay, I'm glad we got the Michelle scale down. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's the scale. So very, oh man, I especially the 2 middle ones. I just can't wait to talk about them. Though they have slightly similar themes about food, they're wildly different in the things they focus on, but they're so good at it, and I'm so happy. I mean, I feel so redundant. I feel like every time I say this, we always say this, but it's true. This show keeps getting better and getting more confident in its form and pushing out new characters and still making everything really interesting and engaging. It's just so magical. I love it. And I love these episodes. They're very, very good.
Nice. Okay. Coming in hot here from Michelle. Alex, what did you think of these 4?
I also really enjoyed all 4 of them. I think that, at least to me, the Takeout mission stands out as the one that I enjoyed watching the most. But for the first time, I was enamored with it, and the second time even more so. The other episodes, their standard Craig of the Creek, good. They do all the things right with their main characters. They include some weird visuals that help to spice it up, that they've been doing a lot more in these recent episodes. So that's interesting. Jessica's Trail does interesting stuff in following up on plots, which I guess, or not plot, but I guess just we're actually following a through line here, so that's an interesting addition to the whole Craig of the Creek formula we've got going on. But yeah, all of these episodes just feel right at home. It always feels like nice comfort food whenever new episodes come out. So I enjoyed all of them, although I think that the Takeout mission stands out as the best of this bunch.
Yeah, comfort food because the 2 food related, right?
Yes.
Sure.
Yes, sure. That's exactly why.
Yeah. Okay. I guess I'm less hyped than Michelle on these 4. I thought that these were
what?
Good. I thought that these were good. They're good. Basically, I think it's maybe we're oh, this is the best batch ever. I think I'll take last batch over this batch, mostly because there's no kid from 3030 or Helen episode in there. I feel like there's no super standout for me. No top 5 episode. I love Takeout Mission. That's my favorite of the 4 as well. But I'm not putting it in my top 5. And my second favorite's Jessica's Trail because it's doing interesting plot things that we haven't done before. And then Jextra, Perrestrial, and Dinner at the Creek are also pretty good. There's things I like, things I'm not as crazy about, which we'll get into. Overall, still, it's very consistent, though. That's the thing. All 4 are quite good, and we haven't had an average episode, I guess, in a while. I think all these are above whatever average is. So we haven't really had a down episode in a little while here. So I'm pretty happy with that. But yeah, Michelle, you said the two middle ones, so Takeout Mission and Dinner at the Creek?
Yes.
Okay,
Those two.
we all love Takeout Mission, so I guess we could start there, and then we'll get into what you've seen Dinner in the Creek as well. Dinner at the Creek, and the other two also have very notable elements. Specifically, one thing about Jextra Perrestrial, which I assume we'll get into a lot about
his actual name.
Yes,
that was revealed.
JP. Yes,
Okay. Wait, we already knew it was John Paul, didn't we?
I didn't know. When did they say that before?
We knew that.
When?
They've used it a couple of times. Like Kelsey, I think, has called him John Paul a couple of times when he's like angry at him.
Yeah, that's not a revelation. The revelation was that he's an alien.
No, the revelation is that there's a girlfriend. That's the real revelation.
That was what I was referring to. Yeah. Okay.
So
Takeout. I'm eager to get inside. Let's get into Takeout Mission because I think probably my favorite of the bunch. Pretty standard fare for the plot here. With they're getting food. And it's like a pretty simple.
Well, no, and that's kind of the amazing thing about this episode, that it's such a simple idea, like kids going out to get food, and this is something that's very, very relatable. Like every kid at some point has to do this. Like, hey, you're the one who has to do the phone call because I'm busy doing stuff, so you go do it. And it's scary at first. And the way that Craig of the Creek works is that it heightens everything to the perspective of the kids. In this case, the perspective of Kelsey, making everything so epic. And like with the quest and all that, and then they also like incorporate like interesting animations to dive you into their perspective. Like I especially love the sequence where they're going on the crosswalk to get the bill that crossed, and it looks like the Red Sea is parting to like let them come across. And like that's like amazing animation in the middle of something that like otherwise is a very simple thing to do, but it helps you to really get into the mindset of the kids and make something as banal as getting food exciting to watch. So I was impressed by this episode just because of how much stuff it's doing in terms of making something interesting to watch and something that gets you invested in something as easy as simple as this, because it takes you back to like, well, there was a time in my life where like this would have felt epic.
Nice. I love
exactly.
That
it's very relatable.
From current or kid.
Both. Who likes calling people on the phone to order food?
True.
Who likes themselves and staring at a stranger? Or like who likes I loved, this is a small moment when JP's making the phone call. It's like, oh no, abort, and he's like, oh okay, thanks, that's fine. Like who doesn't do that once in a while? Where like I don't want to make the person I'm calling for food feel bad, so I'll just say it's fine and go, even though it causes me great discomfort to do so. Because causing them stress is too much of a burden that I'll just take that on myself.
Yes.
Like so much of those things are so relatable.
Yes,
it's great.
Social anxieties from being a kid have pervaded into adulthood. That's what we're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I love the crosswalk visual. That's the screen cap. That's like one of the best, I think, visuals from the show. Like this episode has no business being as gorgeous as it is. Takeout Mission, because it's so simple with its plot, and like Alex got into that. It's from a really grand scale from Kelsey's perspective. That's my main thing. I think this is the best episode of the show for Kelsey's character. Like maybe there's better Kelsey specific episodes.
I agree with you,
but I feel like we got a perspective on Kelsey as a character in more depth than we have gotten previously. Starting with this like first few minutes when we're in her room and stuff, that really stood out to me. We meet. We've seen Kelsey's dad Neil before, but we meet him in greater detail, and we see that he's in on Kelsey's night shtick, basically. And
I like that his dad is into it and like follows along, but like also we get to mention that her mom passed and that all these books were hers, and she used to read her say goodnight to like with actual nights. So like I almost wonder if it's like her dad, like maybe her mom was also into this stuff, and maybe that's also why dad is also like trying to keep it up for Kelsey, because it's like that's the connection that Kelsey has to her mom, sort of thing. It's just the like little things they did to build up Kelsey's family helps a lot with her character, and just dad being like the nice balance of stern, but also like handling kids the way kids should be, handled. So like I love Kelsey's dad, and I wish we get more of him. But I know we're not gonna get a lot of him, but like I'm glad that he got this episode for him.
Yeah, I think that's not a little thing. I think this is the biggest, one of the biggest Kelsey backstory things we've gotten we learned that her mom has died. I don't think we knew that, and that basically the implication is that Kelsey's night obsession comes from her mom. Like it seems like her mom was into these books, and Kelsey started reading them and also got into it. So like Kelsey's persona comes from her mom, which I think is a big detail for the character. And yeah, I agree. Maybe her dad had a similar shtick going on, with his wife, with Kelsey. Like maybe it's like a constant, night role playing with everyone in the family. Like it was really incredible. Yeah, we got that, casually dropped, and, we do spend a lot of time with Neil, who's great with Kelsey, and, they're like scared of him at first. That was a great like kid thing, being scared of the parents. Yeah, and then they go on this quest to order dinner and then pick up the takeout. Another thing we learned, by the way, is ages. I don't know if we've gotten the ages of
the
characters before.
We still don't know JP. They cleverly hid that from us.
Kelsey is 8, Craig is 9, and JP is tall. Yeah, so
exactly the age of tall, the classic age.
Yeah, and I went back and watched part of Sunday Close for the previous episode, and they say in that JP's older than them. So yeah, JP something 10 or older, unclear.
Yes.
I assume he's not like over 11. I assume, like, right? Like,
yeah, like I don't feel like he's hit puberty, definitely. So he's got to be like 10 to 12 at the oldest. But I feel like 10 to 11 probably.
Yeah. Okay. We've never not that big of a mystery.
He's the only one who's capable of doing an adult voice. So
yeah, but he's not convinced.
Oh yeah, those kids pretending to be adults.
Yeah, he was trying to imitate. He's trying to imitate Neil specifically, I think. Yeah, I don't know if he says Neil and then a fake last name, but yeah. Anyway, or maybe that is his last name. I was a little confused by it, but yeah, we get their ages. That's a big moment. We've hit this for 30 episodes, and the drawer of dinner menus. I found that very relatable too. That's yes. I also had that. Yeah.
Well, see, though, our family kept the menus like magnet on the refrigerator, sort of.
That's
thing.
also a thing, yeah.
We never really had a drawer of menus.
No, the drawer is a sacred drawer, yeah. So I like that bit. So like they get the towels, but not the good ones. That's another also related.
Yeah.
to clean up the leak, yeah. And well, we get this bit with Craig. Craig doesn't care where they get dinner from, but then he does. He's like, oh no, let's not do that.
Well, we're continuing the Craig is a picky eater arc. This is a thing.
Do you not like that?
I mean, it's okay, but like
it's consistent.
Yeah. I'm more just like
it's consistent. Yeah.
I'm more just like the detail of your friend who's like, oh,
exactly.
wherever, and then just is like, no, not that. Yeah, that's also maybe me sometimes. I don't know, but yeah, it's definitely a real thing. Yeah, and yeah, JP's ordering the food, and they're going to get the takeout, and a lot of very, very Kelsey perspective on this quest. I like Kelsey knowing the roots and like the tree with the falling sticks, not you're up to your old tricks tree. Like, I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Then there's the splash, and then the
trash can shields for the splash was genius.
I got a very hearty chuckle out of JP just flying up into the sky with his umbrella.
Mary Poppins up, and then they just cut to him. He's there.
Yeah. It's like, wait, did he land somewhere else, or did they? Like, I don't know. It kind of leaves it up in the air to your imagination. Did he fly away or not?
Yeah. I mean, he flew away and then they found him, right? Like, it's like, that's the implication.
So he flew away and they found him in a separate place.
But not, okay, yeah, I guess he didn't fly away as much as the visual made you believe, at the very least. But yeah, then they get the dinner, and they're setting the table, and they have to make the rice. What's up with this stove that turns on itself? Is this a thing?
Yeah, no. JP is staring at it. I think it means there's a ghost in Kelsey's house.
No, is this? Are there stoves that just automatically turn on when you place a pot on the stove?
She's an adult ghost. I feel like there's a ghost in their house.
Real, and that's why it's not implying that there's a ghost.
You're totally. Oh my god! It turned on by itself. JP stared at it like uncannily for a long beat. There definitely wasn't one of them. It was a ghost. For sure. How else does a stove turn on by itself? That was a ghost.
I am aware of stoves that automatically turn off.
Yeah,
I don't think
I just tried Googling it and I got the off result. Yeah, but on. Okay.
It's a ghost. How is this even up for
Why
discussion?
would what do you mean? How is this up for? How are you even voicing this opinion that it's a ghost?
On by itself. That's a legitimate question. Why would they hold on JP staring at it?
Because it's a joke that JP is amazed by the technology.
Yeah, right. I think it's supposed to be a stove that senses that the pot's there, right? Like, yeah, but I haven't seen that.
I think a ghost is way more plausible
than this newfounded stoves. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll be revisiting this ghost in the future. Michelle, are you confident in that?
Absolutely. We're gonna find out more. It's Halloween episode next year. It's gonna happen.
Okay, we'll be getting the ghost episode in here. Okay. Yeah. So the stove is the Ouija. Okay. Okay. Interesting. We'll let us know your thoughts on this ghost in the stove in the comments, please. We need to know about it.
Yes.
And Kelsey's dad is happy with them at the end and get the smile. I don't know. What?
A really nice moment, because we were talking before about how it's great to see like their imagination, especially from Kelsey's perspective. I really like the moment when they're freaking out about like, oh, the food's all done and it looks so amazing, and then you just cut to the dad coming down and watching them over animatedly like freaking out about everything.
Yeah. What was that? Oh, what was that? He freaks out in what fashion?
Oh no! Like when they're setting the table and there's all this like pure imagination. He just sees them over. I can't see it.
Michelle, you said that they were freaking out in an overly animated fashion. That's
I think you're the first person that's unintentionally referenced our podcast title.
Anyway, the point is, it's a great moment that grounds all this like extra situational stuff we've been seeing from their perspective in a reality that from an adult perspective makes what the kids are doing very charming and in a nice way childlike, and I really appreciated that because we normally don't see things from adults' perspectives, and it made it like even cuter in a way to be like, oh yeah, look at them having fun at the table using their imaginations, look how into it they are, that's like precious and awesome.
Yeah, I agree. That was really great to see because the show so often, as we've talked about, doesn't clue us into the real perspective. Like we just see things from Craig and the kid's perspective, and it's kind of hard to tell what's intended to be real and not. So it's cool to have those moments. I like that better than always not commenting on the objectivity of like what's I kind of like the switch in perspectives a little more that we accomplish here. Okay, so anything else from Takeout Mission? I think great start to finish here. Yeah,
very strong episode, so many good moments.
Yeah,
I like that JP says I love you at the end of the phone call when he's panicking.
Yeah, because when you're a kid, that's what you say to end phone calls to grandparents.
How do I just make this stop? Thank you. Goodbye. We'll pick it up. I love you. Yeah. It was such good timing.
Oh, Kelsey has a chalice.
She's a chalice. Yeah. Oh, and JP's in Kelsey's shirt when they because his clothes are wet. I like that, and it doesn't fit him. That's the other thing.
He keeps trying to push it down.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a Kelsey body.
Doesn't have a Kelsey body?
Yeah, because it's her shirt.
It's a weird way of saying that. Yeah. Okay. It doesn't fit him. Yeah. Okay.
He's much shorter stature, so the shirt's never going to fit him right.
Yeah. True. Okay. Let's talk. I want to do Jextra Perrestrial next because we got to talk about the big event here.
The big gay event.
The big gay event. Yeah. We open the episode and we see. First of all, JP has a dream that he was a Labrador.
Labradoodle.
Yes.
Yeah, says Kelsey, rollerblading, and then he gets hurt, and the 10 speeds were there. Handlebar was there, at least.
Handlebarbs.
Yeah, Handlebar's there, and then he's hurt, and we see Laura, JP's older sister, who we saw once before in Sunday Clothes, and it's her girlfriend Kat as well.
Yay! Yeah. Kat's cool. I like how they were all trying to impress Kat when she complimented Kelsey on her sword, and then Craig's like, "Oh man, I should have brought my staff."
Yeah, Kelsey liked that. Yeah, and
I want praise.
Yeah, this was hype when we saw. Saw the 2-minute preview on the app last night. It was so hype that.
You did.
And,
okay.
Yeah, and they were in it, and yeah. What was your reaction, Michelle, seeing that Laura has a girlfriend named Kat in this episode.
I was so happy because it was so casual, and that's the nice thing about Craig. It's like it's still such a nice surprise, but they treat it as so casual and normal and blasé, and I love that. Because no one's going to make a big deal out of it in this universe, and that's how it should be. But it's also very validating. And they both looked really cute, and I'm really excited for it was like a creme brulee date reservation. That's an amazing idea in of itself. It's just the whole thing is great.
Yeah, so the reservation is at the International House of Brie.
Is that?
It's an IHOB, similar to how IHOB is now burgers. So
it would have been much better if they transitioned to Brie instead of burgers.
What do you mean transition to?
Real
IHOB. Okay, so you're saying that would have been a better business move for IHOB. Okay,
probably.
Yeah. I love this for these first 2 minutes so much with this scene because of how much we just learn about Laura and Kat's relationship, very ingrained into the scene of like tending to JP. It's we don't ever specifically state that they're girlfriends, but we talk about their reservation and they're dressed up.
They have a reservation together. That's all you need to know to put two and two together.
We also learn that they grew up together, as with Kat.
Yeah.
And Laura's gonna drive. Kat's like, I should drive, and no, Laura's the one that's gonna drive. Yeah.
Kat has road rage, which is also an amazing personality trait.
Yeah, it was great. They're both of their designs and just having a second queer couple in the show, I think is fantastic. And they got to be friends with the witches, weren't they?
I hope so.
I guess they're
are they older than the witches?
Yeah. I feel like unclear how old they are. I think they're
because the witches are about to go into college, and Laura is already a nurse in a hospital.
I mean, she could have not gone to college, but she's probably in her 20s. Yeah. Yeah, it's or I guess you have to go to some form of college, but it's I thought they were fantastic, and that was the hypest thing. I feel like that was my favorite. Even though I feel like the rest of this episode I'm not as crazy about, this beginning and is with Laura and Kat is great, and we need to see more of them.
Yes.
Well, can I just mention something bigger about the rest of the episode? I think the problem here is Jason. Why does Jason have to keep popping up into stories?
Let's get back to that in a sec. Get back to that in a second.
We're gonna.
I wasn't dismissing the whole episode. We're gonna get into the rest of the episode, but quick point about the Laura and Kat. I will say, I did really love it. I'm not as crazy about the fact that we didn't specifically comment on them dating. I think that we also have not done this with the witches, and this is something that stands out to me that it's not in the realm of quote unquote legitimate representation versus like what an anime does, which is we call this anime gay casually, like where you have characters that are like really affectionate towards each other and like they're clearly into each other, but they're never like they never say they're queer or lesbians. They say that and they never say that they're dating. It's just like implied. I think Craig is still in that realm because we never.
I think Craig is better than a lot of the anime. I mean, because like this is clearly, if they have a there's no question in my mind that they're not a couple, and I feel like there is like a little more room for uncertainty with a lot of those anime couples in quotation marks towards like, they're affectionate.
I mean, there's a scale. I certainly agree that they made it as clear as they could without labeling it, but from like a broad queer representation perspective, it is very important to be specific in these cases. As like you need to it's even more validating if they said they were gay or that they were dating.
I mean, I don't know. I think context is important. I don't think you necessarily need to be so overt about saying like, yeah, my girlfriend let us go to our reservation because we are in love and we do that together. I mean, that's what I was saying in terms of like, I like that it's so natural and chill. They don't feel the need to be overt. I feel like it just depends. And because this isn't the only example of queer representation in the show, even queer representation in this batch of episodes, it doesn't bother me as much as it might bother you, Dylan, because like I feel like it's doing a great job, and it doesn't feel like there's any uncertainty there without them being verbally explicit about proving that the relationship is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about the specific in episode couple of like it's about the broader importance of this type of thing. I would say, like it's not that they didn't do a great job here with showing them clearly being a couple. I do disagree that there's no way to naturally just say that they're dating. They could have just said, and this is my girlfriend Kat, as opposed to just saying Kat. Like, you can naturally work that in. I think a lot of people have this block in their mind where they think that you can't just naturally, you can't just be explicit about relationships or people being gay without it being like forced or bad writing. So I don't like those arguments, and because it gets into that realm for me. It's like, oh, we have to like spend 5 seasons until we actually like explicitly say people are dating or gay. But yeah, I mean, there's the celebrity couple next episode, and that's actually like they call them a couple, and that's like
Exactly.
that's an actual thing. So, and not to be dismissive of Laura and Ken, like I loved this, but if the show wants to like chart itself, I feel like at least in how I view queer media and like covering all of these shows, like what's the most impactful is like when Ruby and Sapphire get married and when they kiss and stuff. So like it's great that we get the witches. It's great that we have Lauren Cat here. Let's be more explicit about this. And also not necessarily assigning fault here, because I know that this is not always something that's up to the people making the show, right? So it's just like from the show overall perspective, I'm not, I don't know if this is like a huge track along the queer representation progression, at least for me. Like I'd like to get into some more detail here. And it's also only been these side characters so far, which, we can get into which, obviously, because the show is like 80% side characters, in varying degrees, but we could, bring Lauren Cat back, have a whole episode about them, like we've done with the witches. We brought them back already. So I think that's, there's some cool stuff we could do there. Okay. We can delve into more. Also, potentially third queer couple. We'll see when we get to that episode. I have thoughts on another pair of characters introduced later. Okay. So, the rest of Jextra Perrestrial, we have Ice Pops. First of all, another I feel like childhood nostalgic thing. Where we dig into to the ice pops that you push up, that you like they're breaking it apart. I thought that was another thing that they captured pretty well. And also another nostalgia thing is the JP with his making his name with his hands. That
was terrifying.
Yeah, is that nostalgia? Like, does everyone as kids have very flexible joints? Because I don't remember that.
So what's
not necessarily having it yourself, but knowing a kid who can bend their arm or finger a certain way that freaks you out because it feels unnatural, feels very relevant to me.
Yeah, that was it's knowing someone who's double jointed is what that was a lot.
Knowing someone at least.
Yeah, that was there's like I feel like double jointedness is something that was a huge point of discussion as a child and is not relevant at all as an adult, right? So that's a perfect thing for the show. JP is like the weird kid that's can like bend his like finger in weird way. That makes sense, I think. So JP, the plot is JP thinks he's an alien, and like I like Kelsey wanting him to be a vampire in the entire episode. That comes up a few times. That's good. But then they're like doing various things to like examine him, and then they're like contacting with flashlights. And they have like the belly freckle star chart. And
it looks like this constellation, as long as you ignore all of these ones in the center.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good line.
I think Craig is hot take. I think Craig is aware that he's being stupid for most of these episodes, but he just ignores it because he likes having fun. That's my interpretation of Craig's character in moments like this. Also, in Kid from 3030, he plays along with the kid in the beginning. Like he knows that he's using his imagination. He just likes getting into it and setting aside more of his logical side. That's interpretation of Craig in these moments. Okay. And also Tony, Jason, Tony, and Boris are here. And, yeah, I don't think they should be in this episode. Yeah.
Alex Deep Grown.
Yeah, it just feels like a distraction. Like, I don't know. Like, it feels almost artificial conflict that I don't care about. Like, they're just messing with JP's quest for no reason.
Yeah. A lot of
because they have to, because in the ET movie, doesn't the government come and interfere? Aren't they supposed to represent that in an homage-y sense? Is that why they're there?
The whole episode's an ET homage? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it kind of is, and that's why they're there. They're like, oh, they gotta be essentially the government scientist people. It's been a long time since I've seen that movie, but yeah, there's like somebody, it's either government or scientists, who come in and try to ruin everything, and they fill that void for this version.
Yeah, a lot of my criticisms from Secret Book Club about the episode being structured around the set plot that they want to tell apply to Jextra Perrestrial as well. It does not feel natural. The story they're trying to tell. We have like a few like 5-second scenes with Jason, Tony, and Boris, and it's like this is very weird that we're just randomly cutting to them at various points. I mean, they were funny, especially Boris. I would. Goldfish are cute. I like that. I like Boris a lot. But
Boris would be a good boy if he could get away from the other two. That's my hot take.
I think Jason. We've established all of them are in the
skinny, short, red-haired one. He's the one to watch out for. I feel like he's the most dangerous.
Ginger offensiveness. I feel like with.
I don't know his name.
Wow.
2 episodes from my knowledge. I don't know his name yet, but he's the one to watch.
The Tea Party episode, I think, established that they can be fine when left to their own devices. All of them, they're fine. But I don't know what they're doing here. They're doing camouflage. That's okay. And then it culminates with JP. I'm an alien. I can't get hurt, and jumping.
Oh my god! I was legit concerned because he jumped a pretty far distance.
And this is where Craig just like whispers, "Go home, JP." This is like, but he falls and breaks his hand.
Yeah, and
but he knows he's like he finally broke a bone.
Yeah, no, I don't think his arm is broken in any other episode. Heals quick, I guess. And then the Mercer high five at the end, so they're both double jointed with Laura as well.
And just the general wrapping up of, hey, well, I know I called you weird and alien earlier, but you're actually like special, unique, and like I'm glad you're okay because you're my brother, sort of thing. So it's like another example of like the wholesome brother sister relationships that we get in the show. Same with like Craig and Bernard that we've had in the past. It's like at the end of the day, like even with the age difference, like I still appreciate you and I'm glad you're safe, sort of thing.
That's a good point. And also just the fact that JP takes it so literally. I feel like as kids, we in general would take things a lot more literally and not consider like, oh, she's just joking. She actually means this. Like, no, you say I'm not normal and I can't be human. That must mean I'm not. That's all there is to it. I feel like that's very reminiscent of kid logic also.
Well, and also like just the general
say at face value.
Well, like the general, because JP in this show, like, it obviously does act as the weird one sometimes, but it's nice to like see him be like self-aware about it. Like, oh wait, I am weird. Why am I this way? And like that's a point that all of us get to at some point in our lives. Like, why don't I fit in with like quote unquote normal kids? Or like, is there something wrong with me? And so like if someone provides you a reason like that and you're that young, it's like, well, maybe that's a reason because you just want something to explain why you are the way you are. Eventually in life, you get to the point where there's not an easy way to explain that kind of stuff. But at that age, you're looking for something to spell it out for you. And sometimes you buy into weird theories like this.
Yes, and I think it relates back to also Craig being really into. They're all LARPing, they're all being the most imaginative and the zaniest ideas, and they're running with it. So yeah, I think that all tracks. Also, last thing of note, JP's mom mentioned a few times now, and I don't think we have seen her yet. So, on the lookout for her popping up at some point. Okay, let's talk Dinner at the Creek. Michelle, you're a big fan. What are your favorite moments this episode?
Everything to do with Bernard for one.
Bernard and Alexis, man. The two of them.
Yeah.
Wait, are you tepid on Alexis
fine,
here?
Mostly.
Yeah,
I have not written this to you guys, but I am very tepid on Alexis.
Wow. Yeah, I'm a total opposite of this episode. I love Alexis and Bernard is like, eh.
She's the best in this episode from what we've seen, and she's
what
makes
you tepid about Alexis? We need to dive into this.
Oh no, we don't. She's fine. I just think she's just kind of there and is chipper, and that's kind of all she does. And Bernard has actual characterization, and that's why I like him.
She's a super minor character. Yeah. Okay. She's the Babysitter's Elite. She's the sergeant at arms of the Babysitters. Yeah.
Yes. some interesting title. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
This is a great episode, though. So the thing is, Bernard and Craig, I kept wondering if they were going to have an episode to bond specifically. That hasn't happened yet, but the dynamic they have throughout this episode actually feels a lot more true to life and realistic. And I love the fact that Bernard, he kind of loses his cool and blows up at Craig, and then Craig storms off. Like, that feels very relatable, having an older sibling that you don't quite mesh with because you're in very different places in life, and having that come to a boil every so often. Like, siblings get under your skin. I mean, Craig's gotten mad at Jessica too, and they make up and it's fine. But like, I appreciate the show's willing to kind of have those sort of conflicts and not to just tie everything up neatly, even and to have Craig kind of come to terms realizing that Bernard didn't make a perfect meal either, but realizing, you know what, he's like trying his best. He's trying to do the adult thing, and he's the oldest, and like this is what he feels is his responsibility. I'm gonna try to be supportive to him for that. And he comes to that realization himself, not because his mom told him to. And I think that distinction is really important. So I thought this was a great episode. And also the struggling to learn how to cook real things. Again, I relate, even though I'm not a child.
That's our experience with this show in general. Yes, I relate, even though I'm not a child. Great sibling stuff with Craig and Bernard. I agree. Getting into the specific episode, Craig's mom and dad leaving Bernard in charge. They're going to the Jelly reunion tour. The hip prop comedian. That was all good. By the way, Craig's mom has her look, which she had at the end of Jessica's trail. After she got out of the salon. Like, she had her hair done.
I don't think these episodes are aired in whatever the production order is, so that probably came after.
Yeah, so the point being, Jessica's trail is supposed to be before dinner at the Greek. Mm-hmm. That's pretty annoying. But, she's, important continuity. That's
continuity, yeah.
Her hair, it might have been the same day as Jessica's trail, too, because, the same thing going on.
Her outfit looks similar, yeah.
Yeah, no, she's wearing the same thing, yeah. And then, Craig and, Alexis are eager to make the risotto recipe from their favorite celebrity chef couple, Ash and Ajin. It's a great couple activity, they say. And
yeah,
that was a great way to insert queer representation in a quick way. Which with Ash and Ajin, that seems cool, and I love that Bernard and Alexis are so into that. Bernard is being very eager with. I agree with Craig's dad. It's very, very eager with Alexis. Like,
he said something like, "It'll be like we're mom and dad for the night."
Yeah, she blushes, and then Dwayne's like, "Hey, don't think about that too soon, kids."
Yeah, also just like casually saying he loves her, like several ways.
Yeah.
Wow, they're here to stay, Michelle. Alexis is here to stay.
I'm not saying it's not great. I think they're very nice together.
Yeah.
I just have way more interest in Bernard as a character.
Yeah. I agree with that. And Jessica's helping. They say umami a few times. And
umami,
pretentious teammate. Yeah. So Bernard very pretentious, obviously, and it was him being into umami is a good example of that. And
for us who aren't aware of Japanese words, what is umami?
It's like there's the 5 taste things, and the 6th is umami. I don't know that. I don't know that much. It's like it's a taste palette, I think, is the. I'm not the person to ask about this, but yeah, it's supposed to be a palate thing, like of how things taste. Like there's sweet, salty, et cetera, and then umami.
Yeah, I thought it was like an ingredient he was using. I was like, okay, whatever.
I think
it's a category of tastes according to Google.
Yeah, I think like, this food will activate this sense of this taste. Yeah, okay. Not important. And Craig, more important is Craig yelling at Alexis and then apologizing after. We all love having you
that
here.
Was really good.
Yeah, I like that. I thought that was a great moment for Alexis. They're all like trying to be nice to her, and be welcoming to Bernard's girlfriend. And it's good. And then we get the whole segment of Craig finding he has to make his own dinner. Wild man Craig. We get several sequences. Yeah.
JP says he sounds handsome.
Yeah,
he sounds handsome. Such a good line.
Yeah, it's good. Michelle, what is your reaction to Wild man Craig?
I mean, it's fine.
Oh, not that. That's not the. Oh, you said Bernard parts, but yeah. That's a particularly notable thing. Seeing like a buff future Craig. He's like foraging. And then we have this episode. He's what?
he crushes like a mound of salt in his bare hand.
Yeah, I get the spices. Yeah, it's good. And this episode is a lot of surrealist sequences. That's one of them with this wild man Craig. We also have Kelsey's plot to like integrate with the squirrels. That's like animated,
that's
really
off
weird.
The rails.
Yeah,
that was a lot.
Yeah, I will say in general, I think that this back-to-back with Takeout mission, which also had surrealist sequences like the parting of the Red Sea, it was a little bit much for me, I think, with the exaggerated surrealist parts. The first time I watched, I got a little tired of it. Second time, it worked better. All of them. I think in general it works better in Takeout mission for reasons we stated there, like that we switch perspective and stuff. So we see that these are surrealist sequences, and here I think we're relying on it a little bit in the middle of the episode. So that'd be, I guess, my criticism of this episode, but it's still good. Daring JP to steal the nuts, and then he's attacked by squirrels, and he says, "Oh bother," like Tigger. Yeah.
He does.
Yeah, that's good. Then they go to a crabapple tree. This was another nostalgia hit for me. Crab apples. Yeah. Can confirm this is
they're
a
what
thing
you eat when you're
Maryland.
really, really hungry and you're walking home.
I think you're supposed to eat the
Last
crab apples.
resort.
That's what I was told. You're not
I
supposed to eat them.
have.
You've eaten crab
Well,
apples?
they're there. Well, they grow on a tree and you're hungry and you're a kid and you see them and they look like cherries. Why wouldn't you try?
Look like cherries.
I feel like it's summer camp. For the one time I went to summer camp, they told us how to figure out which ones you could eat and which ones you couldn't, but I didn't remember, and I feel like after that I never ate crab apples again.
Yeah, well, JP was allergic, and
probably, but I don't remember what they tasted like.
I don't remember ever trying that. The JP was allergic to them. My favorite part of the episode might have been the Ariel Formation.
Mine too. I really like Kelsey monologue, and then we just hard cut to her smashing her face against the tree.
Yeah, and then everything falls, and they're like, yay! That was a really successful comedic moment. They played with the narration device that they've used, and they like kind of subvert it by having her crash immediately. And also it's like they're practicing formations too. I like that concept. They're like, it's not ready. And it was, but they get the stuff. I thought that was very good. They're very fun. Then Craig can't, he's down on himself because he can't, take care of himself. We get another surrealist sequence, speaking of this, with the, so you think you can take care of yourself. Craig's, anxieties manifested into this game show type thing where his parents are judging them for, Bernard succeeded, Craig screwed up. I think individually this is good. It was a lot, one after another in general. But this was it was definitely super interesting to have this in the episode here, because it's not literally happening at all and immediately cuts to the fact that it's not happening. It's more of like expectation versus reality. We see the, this Craig's anxieties, and then in reality, Bernard and Alexis screwed up the risotto, and then they resolve it by putting a bunch of cheese on top of it, which makes it edible. Which I relate to this a lot.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
This ending reminds me of, like Craig. We've compared Craig to Steven a couple of times, Steven Universe, and I feel like this ending especially is very similar to like the test episode where like Steven knows that stuff is going wrong, and he like pretends that everything's all right, but like for the sake of his older people, his guardians feeling okay. So like Craig is pulling a very similar move here. So it just continues the whole like main character boy being very nice. I'm not sure if this is something that happens in real life, where I guess to an extent where like you pretend like you know that something's going on wrong and you like try to play it off like no everything's fine sort of thing. So and just there specifically the parallel stood out between Craig and Steven, considering the connection between these two shows.
Nice.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I enjoyed that ending too. Yeah. Okay. It was a little harsh on Dinner with Craig. I think it's good overall, good moments beginning and ending. Some fun individual things in there as well. Let's talk.
Yeah, that's the thing. Beginning and ending is fine, but like the middle, I feel like it does drag after a bit.
Yeah.
I just want to say one thing. If there is a designated night that is pizza night, like I understand where Craig and Jessica are coming from and their horror at a fancy, ridiculous new food they've probably never tried before being thrust upon them by their older sibling who just wants to be cool. I would be upset too. Pizza's great, especially if you're a kid.
I agree. Their reaction was warranted.
Yes. Also, in the little pieces of information, did we know that the name of the town they were in is Herculton?
Yes, but it's not said. It's not said very often, but they've said it maybe once before. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, glorious name.
Herculton, Maryland. Yes. Okay. Jessica's Trail. I really like this episode. I like all the mythology we dive into. It is the sequel to Under the Overpass. I think it's pretty intriguing. Everything we get into, and also even before that, the moments with Jessica, I think are very fun. Were you guys less high on this? As high, Michelle?
Honestly, I really liked the moments at the salon a lot. They felt very down to earth, and now I like seeing the mom interact with other people. Like you get that sense of community and this sort of ritual that she does on her own. And yeah, I mean, I was honestly really creeped out by the honeysuckle-esque boys. Before they got nasty, I was kind of like, why are they so uncomfortable to watch? And maybe it was their outfits, but I was getting a weird vibe from them the whole time.
Okay. Not into the Honeysuckle Rangers. Okay, Alex, Jessica's Trail thoughts.
I also have in my notes Honeysuckle Rangers ? So like that was my reaction when they showed up. So but overall I think that the main part that I like is the Jessica Craig relationship, like Craig taking after Jessica, Craig being happy when he finds Jessica, Craig explaining to Jessica that this isn't a game anymore. So like those little moments stood out to me. And also the idea of there being a story behind like on this other side of the creek maybe wanting to invade. Like that idea is interesting enough. Although obviously like this is the introduction, so we don't really get much explanation beyond what the Green Poncho kid tells us. But I do like that we're extending like some kind of story or some kind of like far off antagonistic thing to throw into the wrench and throw into the story in the future. So I like that part of it as well. The actual story of like meeting the Honeysuckle Rangers and stuff, like whatever. But there are other bits and pieces of this episode that did stand out.
Okay. Yeah, I think in general, I'm not as into the mythology building stuff that they're as some people really love Under the Overpass on. I think it's more successful for me in this episode because we integrate it better with the salon moments and this Craig and Jessica relationship and stuff like that. I think it's better when it's like a part of the as an element integrated with the parts of the show that are more successful in general. We're gonna build the plot being more of a thing here. But at the very least, it's really intriguing what we're getting into with the Green Poncho and the other side of the creek. Raj and Shawn, the Honeysuckle Rangers, by the way, this is who I was referring to with the third gay couple. They're dating. They're boyfriends. I'm telling. I'm confirming.
You can tell.
I can tell. Okay.
Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
okay.
That's what they're.
I mean, they have matching flower outfits.
Yes.
So like,
why don't you guys?
There's pine cones though. One of them is kind of dangerous.
Shawn is mean, but Raj is a sweetheart. Okay, I'm gonna defend Raj.
Sweetheart. He needs to hold his boo back though. Is what I'm saying.
He just likes the bad boy. He just needs to tame him a little bit more. Yeah. They're great though. Shawn is also very funny in several parts though. I think I really like these as in character introductions here. They're a big part. And then the Green Poncho comes back. That's his name. We learned that he is not from the overpass side. He is from their side of the creek, and he is the guardian, protecting them from the mill side. Beware the mark of the mill, they say, the one with like that wheel, the tattoo type thing that we see on them. That's kind of our big mythology exposition. He's guarding them from the other side, and Raj and Shawn say they want to show the map to their friend.
They said something like he would love to see this, and
that person's in charge of something is what that means.
So at first you think it's the Green Poncho. That's the only person we know, but no, the Green Poncho's on our side. There's a big bad, I feel like, that Raj and Shawn are referring to. That's our villain of the show.
Essentially.
Yeah, so that's intriguing.
They also said like it would make up for the thing at the banquet. So it seems like they've been kind of exiled, and they thought that this was their way back in.
Yeah, feel very Game of Thrones, everything that was happening like their banquet, and get back into the good graces of the king. And it's a lot. I've some people making a connection to Helen here. Our co-host Steve talked about that, and then also someone on the subreddit.
Wait,
someone in the subreddit too says the Archer Kid and Helen. Same person, like, no, but people, at the very least, people, neither of those things is true, but at the very least, the Helen is invoked in the mysteriousness, like maybe she's from this side of the creek, I don't know. We could do something with that, but, people like the mysterious elements of the show, basically, I feel like is what that boils down to, and they're into the theorizing with what's going to be happening. Yeah, any theories on who the big bad friend of, Raj and Shawn is?
I mean, the best odds is that it's
the kids.
Yeah, the best odds is that it's just someone we haven't met yet. Like that's the easy way out. What if it's secretly the Jason kid? What if he's behind this all?
Jason wishes
he's too stupid.
That organized.
Yeah.
Jason doesn't have that kind of power control.
I think it would be really fun if Kit was a double agent.
How dare you? How dare you try to sully her reputation
so much
like that?
For her. It's not sullying if it's a brilliant scheme.
The thing is, she's with them in the first episode to collect the honeysuckle, so she's like, it's an excuse to monitor them to make sure they don't see too much. But really, she's pretending to be a boy who's in charge of the other side. That's my theory.
Awesome.
Because Kit's the only one that's like smart enough to pull something like if it's someone we know, it has to be someone smarter. There's not a lot of options, so that's it's someone prominent. Everyone's really just a one episode. Anyway, it's probably a new character.
The sewer queen is able to go underground, so maybe she's
smart too.
Cross through.
She's happy with her domain, though. I don't think she has any plans for expansion.
Yeah, it
to
could be
the
the sewer
above
queen.
ground.
Alex, were you satisfied with our second sewer queen episode? Because she's here for a second.
It doesn't count if it's a flashback of the first episode.
Yeah, it was just a flashback.
Were you insulted? You're like looking forward to the next sewer queen episode, and then this is what we get. This flashback.
Look, I have faith that she will show up again and be amazing in whatever they decide to do. But yeah, I will say about that sequence, it from the very beginning, you're setting it up as this is like your quote important episode. It's like, oh, remember all these fun adventures we've had. So that felt a little like on the nose, like just like flashing back to like all the characters you know and love.
Yeah, that was a weird sequence. That's the first time we've ever had like a recap within the show. I guess the purpose of it is to show the poncho, the green poncho again. Like we see a few other flashbacks, but it's to remind us that he exists because we're about to meet him. It's like a previously on contained within the show. I don't know. Maybe it was for a different reason, but it seemed weird to just have these random flashbacks unless it's like, this is how the show has to handle, continuity while it's still being, just very episode specific, in that we're actually referencing something specifically from before. So we have to like flash back to it in the episode. Maybe they just thought it like enhanced the plot. I don't know. That was very, very strange sequence. I don't think it was like that bad. I don't think it was like bad.
It wasn't bad, but like it stood out. It's like, wait, what's going on here?
Yeah. It makes the episode not feel super cohesive, I guess. You can't really, it's not like telling a cohesive narrative like, oh, remember when this happened. But obviously, from our perspective, it's unneeded. Maybe we think it's like in place of a previously on. That's what I don't know. It was interesting. Rest of the episode, we're as referenced, Craig's mom bringing them to the salon. Him and Jessica. I like the salon person talking about her daughter with internet videos and avocado smoothies. She has 1 million subscribers, and
I have 32 clients.
Yeah,
and then Jessica was talking about how like she was gonna lose her license, and she'd have to go back to business school. So is this? I was a little confused. Like, is this the mom doing the lady a favor by going all the way to the salon and like giving her business so she doesn't have to? Like,
she talked about why they were going so far in the beginning, but it was very fast. Yeah, I don't know. It's
yeah, like that part. I think they were trying to explain it with Jessica's dialogue, but I didn't get it.
It was a story that you'd have to pick up on in small pieces. But I also like the weird the reference like weird kids YouTube with the making this. I don't know. I feel like that's what that was. with the rocket ride, Jessica, and then she's pretending to be on an alien planet. I love that with Jessica pretending to be in this sci-fi show. And then she's like doing that too when they find her, and Craig's reunion with Jessica, I think, is really touching. Craig's like really happy and crying and hugging
scolding her, but then smooching her at the same time.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Yeah,
yeah. Jessica's great in this episode. Jessica and Craig together, great, and then I guess the ending is just the corner of the map. Raj and Shawn took that. So of note.
Get about that. Yeah. Those kids, those boys, the honeysuckle boys were so excited, but the part they ripped off was literally like the tunnel underpass, which is the part that they probably already know about versus everything else. So why are they so excited about that part?
Okay, we got to check this. I thought they ripped up the sewer. I thought it was the sewer queen domain that they got.
I thought it was the underpass.
It looks
wait,
similar.
maybe it was the sewer queen. Maybe you're right. Okay, maybe. All right, that makes more sense.
Yeah, because at the beginning of the episode, they show that the overpass is like a piece of the map that Craig added in the middle. True. So the corner had to be one that already existed before then.
If it is the sewer queen, I feel like that's maybe a hook for the next episode in this plot line where they Raj and Shawn go visit the sewers and something to investigate. That could be fun.
Another weird lore piece that they encounter, like an abandoned castle sort of looking thing surrounded by flowers. It's like this is the home of the Knights of Wisteria, who are now in high school.
Yeah. I was wondering if that was going to be important, or if that was if that was another like Elders of the Creek type joke. Like maybe they have their own elders that live there or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's where the mill was, right? Maybe that was the burned down mill building from long ago.
Also possible. Or like high schoolers occupied that building for a time before they just like moved on.
Yeah, we'll see. Okay, any final thoughts on Jessica's trail here? Anything else?
Green Poncho is still cool. Like, you know, he like shows up.
So mysterious.
Yeah, he's mysterious. Like he gets to talk more.
What? No! Oh, he's gone. His disappearance mysteriously is very, very true to him.
Very kid from 30/30 type disappearance at the end. But he's and since we know he's on Craig's side of the creek, he could show up at some point too, and just another random episode, and they'll be like, "Oh, we know this guy. He's he's cool." He's guarding the other side. Why don't they just ask him what he's guarding it from? They have to find him again and just ask him that.
Well, he's guarding him from invaders who want to destroy playtime. That's obviously a good enough explanation for Craig.
Yeah, I guess.
Which also implies that there were issues with people crossing through in the past, and that's why it needs to be protected at all.
So, are we discriminating against kids from the other side of the creek? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, why are they bad? Yeah, we need to know.
Well, that one kid was aggressive. That's all we know.
But there are aggressive kids on Craig's side too.
Yeah, it's like Jason's. Why Jason doesn't represent all of them? Yeah. Just give him Jason, yeah. Okay, trade. We'll take Raj. They can have Jason.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we'll let that trade. Okay, Michelle, final thoughts on these 4 episodes.
Oh, very good. I'm very excited to see what comes next. And I do like that while we're not super concerned with plot, we're getting just enough to keep me interested in the world building and the history of the creek in relation to other areas we haven't seen yet. So I think it's a really good balance. But I'm very happy most of these are grounded in like real life relatable things that are, hyperbolized based on kid perspectives. Like I think that's the core of what the show is, and it works really, really well. Nice. Good job. Thumbs up.
Good job. Thumbs up. Yes. Alex, final thoughts.
Talking these through, I think I've realized like just how much of sincere representation of family relationships there are in this show. Like we talked a little bit about JP and his sister. We talked about Kelsey and her dad, and to a lesser extent, like Bernard and Alexis too, are like a relationship that's growing and like is actually going through like a conflict for once, and and like Bernard dealing with insecurities. So like just I love that Craig continues to like treat those things with sincerity, and like even stuff when it gets played up, like Kelsey's dad like following along with the night stuff, but it doesn't feel like making fun of Kelsey's thing or anything, but like he earnestly is doing it like just to make her feel happy, sort of thing. So I just like how all of the family relationships in this show are portrayed, and it makes you feel good in a world where like sometimes family doesn't work out in real life, but like you get a good sensation from seeing it work out in media.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great point. Then that's a good undercurrent through all these 4 episodes here. Yeah, love these 4. Looking forward to more. Craig continues to be such a great show. We'll see when it comes back. Will we get December episodes? Who knows? We won't find out until very close to when they'll air, probably. Probably, yeah. Okay, so let us know what you thought of these 4. Overlyanimated.com, youtube.com/overlyanimated, or on our Discord, where we have a Craig channel, overlyanimated.com/Discord. And you can also support us via Patreon, patreon.com/overlyanimated. Thank you to all of our current patrons, especially our patron of the podcast, Sarah, aka Sarah Net, and big Craig fan Sarah has been on the podcast. And thanks always to our patron executive producers, John Ryan, Steve, Alex, and Hugh. Check out other stuff at overlyanimated.com recently, including Miraculous Ladybug coverage, DuckTales coverage, Castlevania, very similar show to Craig, and Ruby coverage as well. So find all that at overlyanimated.com. So we'll be back whenever Craig's back. Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Adios.
Bye.